Transmitting to you from Old Heart Radio.
Prepare to have your bones chilled and your hairs raised. It's the WacArnold's Brothers podcast.
Welcome home.
You're damn right. That's
Man,
right.
This hiatus we went on, I've been so looking forward to getting started again. So,
Oh yeah, man. Like, you know, how do I say it? I feel like we've talked about it a little bit. Every now and then, life just checks me pretty tough.
True.
But,
yeah.
you know, it's good to know when to pause and when to like gather your resources. And I think that's what this kind of like little, you know, like beginning of the year kind of hiatus was. I was excited this entire time though. I kept building up, like I have it on like all the 5 different calendars, like the Old Heart Radio returns. You know, like
no, it's good what you said though, because when you get older, like, and I think that the world is in a place now where we are starting to focus more on mental health, and you know, it's good to take those breaks.
Yeah, man. I mean,
you know, so
it's needed, you know, and I'm definitely not one of those people who thinks he's too big to admit, you know. I have moments where I'm just like, there's old episodes of Coffee and Contemplation where I've talked about like my ups and downs really tough, and like, yeah, you know, it sometimes you just have to really take stock of that and just like give yourself, like, you're just, you know, you just have to give yourself a breath. And you know, that being said, dear corn dogs, dear hot dogs, dear whoever you are, people have still been listening this month. Like we haven't posted anything like all month, and like people have just been going through the back catalog. So I appreciate the hell out of that. That seems really special in a way, you know.
Of course.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty cool. But we got a pretty tasty movie for you today, and this is something that you touched on with your live tweet sesh.
Oh God,
a couple weeks back. That shit, like I was telling you before the podcast, like I was reading those alongside watching this, and like folks, like if there's more of that in the future, you guys have to fucking get along with it, because it's so fucking funny, and it's just like, I don't know, man. Yeah, I think it's the best fucking commentary.
So real quick before we jump, I want to talk about another slasher. So last night I went and saw Scream.
Oh, you dog.
Oh man, I fucking loved it. Like, I'm probably gonna go see it again. I almost thought about going again today, but I'll probably wait until next weekend to see if I can like get someone to go with me just so they can see it. Like, I fucking loved it, man. It hit all the notes. It had so many great like references and callbacks to other movies in the franchise, especially near the end. Like, I loved it.
Fuck.
It was amazing. I was so happy because I'm a huge fan. It's one of my favorite franchises. The first one is one of my favorite horror movies of all time. I don't think that there's like a bad movie. Like 3 and 4 are all right, but this one, it was just like, bam.
Yeah.
It was just so fucking good that oh man, I was just so happy leaving the theater.
Damn, dude, I can't wait to fucking get my peepers on it. Yeah, that's that, like you said, dude, Scream has been like one of my all-time favorite horror franchises.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I'm with you, man. Like 4 was a bit like, nah.
It was all right.
It was all right, but I don't really have that much qualms with 3, you know.
Yeah.
I heard there's a lot of stuff that they ended up like that they ditched like last minute in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have any problem with that really, you know.
Mm-hmm. I also got this cool Scream 2 t-shirt that I wore when I saw it last night. I was like an ultimate
dude
fanboy, you know.
That shirt's legit. I
actually found that at believe it or not, if my parents were in town the other weekend, and my aunt like wanted to get me a birthday present, so we went to buy some jeans at Old Navy. I don't know why I'm telling this story, but I found that shirt at Old Navy. It was on.
That was at Old Navy?
Yeah.
Dude, that's
random.
Wild, man.
Yeah.
I've honestly I've gotten some random shirts like not that cool, but I've gotten some random shirts at Old Navy before that. I was like, I don't know why they fucking have this, but
I remember 8-9 years ago, I found this. It was one of the coolest Star Wars shirts. I wish I still had it, but it was episode 5, and it was just of Hoth, and there was an AT-AT. There was the cruiser. It was amazing.
Fucking
it was amazing.
Hell,
I wish I still had it,
dude.
But yeah, every now and then they have some good shit there.
Yeah, dude. Shout out to Old Navy. Hey, you could sponsor us if you want.
Yeah, right. All right. Well, we can get back on track. But yeah, go see Scream,
dude. Yeah, keep horror alive. Go see it. I can't wait to fucking go see it.
But yeah, the Mutilator.
The Mutilator, dude.
AKA Fall Break. Is what it's even in the movie, the title card, when they're doing the, there's the opening sequence and all this shit, and then it has the title card, and it's Fall Break.
It's Fall Break.
Why is that such a thing with 80s movies where it's you know what I mean?
I have no idea. It's they all decide last minute to rebrand and try again, I don't know, man. It's strange. The Mutilator is a definitely better title, if you ask me.
Of course.
I think Fall Break. It
just sounds like a cheesy Animal House type movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The name Fall Break.
It's some kids are gonna go on a little break, on a fall break, and get into some hijinks rather than
right. Rather than get brutally murdered by someone's vengeful dad.
Dude, which is such a weird plot.
I know.
Okay, so we just have to acknowledge that this movie starts out in just fucking wild place, dude.
I don't think it's as wild as the Ice Cream Man opening.
No, oh my god,
But it's still pretty fucking wild,
dude. So you basically you get into this homie scene of little Ed Jr. He's okay. Well, first, actually, the mom has made a cake. It's a really delicious looking cake, and she's finishing it up. And then you see little Ed Jr. who's cleaning all of his father's guns. He has a sign. The handwritten sign taped to the gun case. This is "Happy birthday, Daddy! I cleaned them all.
Yeah. All cleaned by me.
Yeah, all cleaned by me.
What a random fucking birthday present!
Ooh, yeah, dude.
What the fuck?
And while this kid's checking one of them in this sequence, he straight puts the barrel at his eye.
I know.
I was like, holy fuck, dude. And then you think this whole thing's strange enough, all right, weird, what's daddy coming home to? And then I did not think that this was gonna happen, but the kid's cleaning the fucking gun and then just shablam.
Yeah, he just pulls the trigger.
Just fucking pulls the trigger, and you just see that shit just take out his mom in this flat, and she just fucking dies on the ground in the kitchen, dude.
It is so random.
What the fuck? I was like, oh my god. And then to take it even further, man, the dad comes home.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
happy birthday.
Yeah.
Like I said in when I was live tweeting this, we've had other movies where there's been a kid that gets slapped around by his parents. Yeah. This is the one time where backhanding your kid, I'll give it a pass.
Yeah, dude, you just shot down your mom. The dude does, he backhands a kid, but he just he gets so strange with it, man. He's
it's he's lost his mind already.
Yeah, he just instantly is just boom, I've snapped. And he at one point he grabs the rifle and scares the little kid out of the fucking house or whatever. He's gonna shoot him, and then he drags this is the weirdest part, he drags the body into the other room where the gun case is, pours himself a whiskey, drinks the whiskey, and then pours some into the dead wife's mouth,
and then tapes the sign to her. It was
dude, I was like, what the fuck just happened?
How traumatizing.
You know? Yeah. And we have a whole fucking movie still, folks.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess like it flashes forward some odd years from there.
Yeah.
Right?
Probably like I would say these group of people, they're obviously in college, so they're probably 19 or 20. So it's a good, 13, 14 year jump or whatever. I don't even know how old the kid was, but it's a time jump.
Yeah. I want to note that when we jump in this scene, we get the first fall break reference. There's like the theme song is like completely centered around fall break. And so every now and then you hear it.
So when I did this, live tweeted it a couple weeks ago, that theme song was stuck in my head for a while. And now, unfortunately, it is stuck in my head again.
It's back.
And when it plays the whole song here in a little bit, like I was reading that, I forget the guy's name. Let me see real quick. It's Peter Yellen. He wrote the score for the movie, and he created this song. And this song totally to me reminded me of like the Kenny Loggins songs in like, not Groundhog's Day, but I can't believe I can't think of the name of the movie, but the golfing one.
Oh, Caddyshack?
Caddyshack, yeah.
Yo.
It reminds me of like something that would have been in Caddyshack. We're going on a fall break. It's like
fall break. Dude.
Oh, it's so bad.
Dude, it's so fucking bad. It's like, yeah, I mean, it fits in with the time. Like, I mean, I feel like everything was
totally
like, trying to be like in this weird way, like cheese like that, but it's just I don't know. Anyway,
but
so
like you said, there's this group of friends. They're, Ed and all of his friends. I'll just put their names out right now. There's Linda, Mike, Ralph, and Pam, and then we meet Sue in a little bit. But they're just, having this nice, drinking some beer, talking about how boring their fall break's gonna be.
Oh no, this fall break's gonna be the worst. Yeah, like, well, yeah, they're all like upset that they don't have any plans or whatever. Also, I want to note that fall break is not really a fucking thing, at least that I've experienced. There's spring break and winter break, but
right, there might be like a couple days off, but yeah, I don't remember a fall break either.
Yeah, I was always curious. I was curious about that this entire fucking movie. Anyway, so. Ed gets a phone call in this scene. Who makes the phone call?
We don't know. He gets like a message to call his dad.
Yeah.
So then he calls his dad, and there's just like this brief scene where he's talking on the phone. But while that's going on, one of the group of friends like retells the story of how his mom died, because they're like, I thought his dad was dead. And she's like, no, his mom died, and tells the story that we, just witnessed.
Yeah. Yeah. At least they didn't take the time like some movies we've seen to just show us the exact same thing.
Yeah. Like Sledgehammer. Oh my God.
Fucking hell, dude. That movie still is like the slowest fucking most frustrating paced movie I think I've watched so far.
Oh my God.
Anyway, so the Mutilator continues on. So they all basically decide. I couldn't tell if Ed welcomed them to join him in closing up his father's house, or if they were just like, we'll go and make it our fall break.
Yeah, they kind of coerced him into it, because he was like mentioning how, he hasn't talked to his dad in all this time and he wants nothing to do with it. And then his friends are like, it'll be a fun fall break,
Yeah, they're like, gosh, don't worry about that stuff. We'll go. And they pile into a convertible and who's convertible? Ed is. I guess it must be Ed's because he's driving it, right? Like, right. But they all pile in. Somebody makes a beer joke in this scene,
right? Like let's drink and drive.
Yeah, it's 85. It's still acceptable.
And this is when we get the truly the whole song. Like it has this, all these cheesy scenes of them driving. There's even like this elongated scene where they stop to get beer. But yeah, the song is fucking it's drilled into my head right now.
Forget
We're
our
going-
classes.
Fall break, fall break.
Oh
When
my
you
God.
fall into my arms, I'll break into your heart.
I'll break into.
Fall break.
Oh my God, dude. Yeah, I'm with
if
you.
you guys
man.
are listening, you should go onto YouTube right now and tweet fall break song, and then it'll come up with the goddamn song on YouTube with clips from the movie. It's ridiculous.
Oh my God, dude. Do it. It'll be stuck in your head too. Oh,
But yeah.
So yeah, it's basically just a montage of them getting there.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, at
Driving
one point,
there, yeah.
At one point, the car during the beer run, the car break has a little bit of a engine trouble, but they get it going again. There's this really
Yeah.
strange scene during that sequence when the fucking what's his face, the one guy
Ralph, Ralph is a tool, dude.
Yeah, dude, major tool. He like makes
I
this
feel
like,
like-
weird joke about or like I don't know if he's trying to joke. There's like a senior discount, and he goes like,
Yeah.
he's like talking to this African American like elderly man who's like, and he's like, that's discrimination. Like, and he just, I'm in law school. I'm gonna be a lawyer or whatever.
Right.
Like,
So right after that scene, that it shows like the guy at the register talking to this girl that walks up, and her acting is so bad, and you can tell she's like looking at the camera and just reading these lines, because the way she delivers a line is so bad. She's like, "Oh, another teen come in to get some more beer," huh? Or something, whatever she says. But it's like the worst. Like, it's awful.
yeah. Oh God. Yeah. And I mean, that arguably might be the worst in the movie, but I read that there was like a lot of like family help in this movie. So like they pulled in like just like
Oh yeah,
family
yeah, yeah.
members to
That
do
makes
things,
sense.
you know. And
Yeah.
I wonder if that was one of the cases. There was just like somebody knew somebody, and they're like, "Hey, you come here and
Wanna
just read this
pop in?
line."
Yeah. That could be the case. That could be the case.
Like, you don't even have to act. It's on this card here.
Yeah, that's at least this scene. That's what it felt like.
Yeah. So yeah, and then it kind of anyway from there. Yeah,
Yeah.
the montage continues.
Long story. There's like a hijinks ensue. There's like a scene where Ralph goes to take a piss and they drive off. You know.
Oh yeah, which I mean should have left them behind. But they get there and they find the place is unlocked,
Yeah, the door is just like wide open.
and there's like beer or like fucking alcohol, beer, like empty fifths and like champagne bottles and like
Yeah.
anything you could think of. There's just
Yeah.
scattered around.
Just
the
looks like a
house.
high school party just ensued the night before. or
It
something.
does. It does. It almost reminds me of the estate. And so they basically like you know they're like assuming that, or I think Ed just assumes that it could have been his dad and some of his hunting buddies or whatever, you know. And they kind of just go about settling into the place then.
Yeah,
from there.
they start exploring, and one of that there's all this crazy shit on the wall. There's like this massive fishing
Oh my
gaff.
God, yeah.
And
all these
yeah.
like some of them noticeably fake, I will say.
Totally.
You know, but just like all these animals, he goes, and Ed's like, my father's known as a trophy hunter.
Right. He's like, he even mentions a line like, he's hunted everything except man, which like, but then we also get this hilarious part. Well, it's not really hilarious, but it is kind of funny how they do the cut, because they're mentioning how there's a battle axe missing off the wall, and then it instantly jumps to this scene of who we know who the killer is, but they don't. But it's Ed's dad who's hiding out in the garage, and it shows him holding said axe, and it's just pretty funny.
Yes, dude, he's like sleeping with the axe.
Yeah.
It's so fucking ridiculous. And they also, during this whole sequence, they also tell a story. They find a photo of
Oh
like
my
this
God.
dude who's bloodied up, and it turns out that dude's actually the director. It's like his cameo, quote unquote.
That's great. I didn't know that. Okay.
And like but it's like this photo of this dude who's like got these gashes in his side, and it's framed, and the dude's all bloody.
I
and
know.
shit. And they're just like, and he's just like, oh yeah, my dad ran over him in a boat.
With the fishing boat motors and axes. It's like, why would that picture be Yeah.
Why is that framed? But yeah, that might like the dude sleeping in like the closet or basement area or whatever with the fucking axe. I was like, it had to be a battle axe of some sort, of course.
Yeah, it's redonkulous.
Oh, I fucking love it. Yeah, and then basically, yeah, they're just kind of like I said, they basically start like just like sort of settling in, and then they get back to like
like Pam starts a fire. They start getting the bedrooms ready for the night.
Yeah, and you're kind of noticing the pairings now for sure.
Yeah, Mike, because Mike and Linda are a couple. Pam and Ed are a couple, and Sue and Ralph are a couple. We also get this hilarious Big Ed. It shows Big Ed. He's like sleeping and having these. He has like a dream of shooting a childhood Ed with a rifle and then like slitting his throat with the battle axe.
It's so ridiculous. Yeah, the battle axe throat was the one that it was just like, my God, man.
Right.
Like the vengeance in this, man, dude. Like if you like, it's just crazy. Like again, like the whole plot of this movie, I'm still just like,
what a premise. Yeah.
What a fucking what. The kid kills the mom really at a really young age, and the dad just like the rest of his life is like, I want to kill this kid.
Yeah. And like bides his time and decides I'm just gonna lure him here and kill all his friends too. Like what the that is crazy. Totally like an 80s horror movie plot though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, the fucking dream sequence is just so great. And yeah, he's like the way he's just like the way he's sleeping with the axe, just holding it like against his chest, like it's, it's precious or whatever. But two of them split off.
Yeah, it's Mike and
Linda, and they kind of stumble about the garage area where you've seen that Big Ed fucking sleeping in the closet with his axe. And they're kind of exploring. They make at one point, I think Mike puts on some waders, and they make a rubber condom.
It's such an awful joke. It's such an awful joke.
And they also discover in the closet, I think, where they find the waders, something that will be utilized later on in the film. These like, I don't know, basically just like spikes in the wall, like railroad spikes or something poking out of the wall. Railroad spikes come up multiple times in this movie. I don't know if you noticed that, which is fucking crazy to me.
They do mention these railroad spikes, but it looks like the reason that these are on the wall is for hanging up fish or whatever he kills. You know what I mean?
Yeah, hanging up fresh kills. Anyway, so they kind of continue on in their like little wandering, and they do like all that kind of flirty bad 80s acting.
Mm-hmm. And they almost like they're about to stumble into the room that Ed is in. Right as Linda's going to open the door, Pam calls her name because it's dinner time. Yeah,
lucky. Yeah, dinner time, man. Yeah, and then that's when they all gather at dinner. It's like, I don't know why these scenes always just like weird me out. There's one in like another movie we watched where it's like they're all just like hanging out, and the other one we watched was like it broke out in like a fucking food fight.
That was Sledgehammer, yeah.
God damn it, Sledgehammer again.
That fucking food fight scene,
dude. Yeah. But I had hauntings of it when this scene came up because I was just like, I hope this doesn't break out.
No, but they later on they do something super random that is like something like 10-year-olds would do, but we'll get to that later.
Fair enough. Yeah, they're all eating it. It seems like everybody leaves fucking Ed and is it Pam to clean up? Yeah, because
she mentions that tonight it's our night, and then tomorrow night it'll be so and so's night to clean.
I got a good rotation going.
Long story short, Mike and Linda decide to go for a walk on the beach to work off the dinner they just ate, while the other four decide to sit down and play a rousing game of Monopoly.
Ooh, yeah, always stimulating Monopoly. I feel like a nighttime walk on the beach wouldn't be this bad at the moment. I don't blame them for going. They look pretty jovial going out there.
Mm-hmm.
Getting in the water, but they also stumble upon a pool, I believe.
Yeah, they eventually stumble on a pool.
But it doesn't seem like the Monopoly game really takes with the others that much.
No, they they kind of make a couple of jokes about whoever's winning or whatever, and they decide to take a break to go walk on the beach themselves and go try to find Mike and Linda, essentially.
Yeah, they're like, let's just stop this fucking game. Nobody's really having fun here. The pool that Mike and Linda find themselves at is quite the exotic little thing, if you ask me. It's like underneath this like tent,
like a gigantic tarp.
Yeah, and there's like all this like beautiful plant life around and stuff like that.
It did not look like it was cheap. It looked like it was an expensive setup. There's lights and foliage everywhere.
Yeah, and they just like, I don't know where it was, but they stumble on it and they're just like, hey, why don't we get in there?
Right.
And, there's this like really ridiculous, like it seems like it's a longer than it needs to be scene of them like getting undressed, but it's like from like the shins down.
Yeah, you don't see any nudity here.
And so it's just like it feels like it takes for so long for some reason.
There's a couple scenes in this movie that seem like they kind of drag on.
Yeah. But yeah, and so they end up getting in the pool, which this is another random thing I heard about this movie that it was in this scene. To make the pool look a certain way, they supposedly dumped a bunch of milk in the water.
Weird.
And it took forever to filter it out again, like later on. But yeah, it was like they wanted like a more like
murkier looking water or something.
And so they just dumped a bunch of milk in it. I was like, I don't fucking know about that shit, but that sounds fucking gross to swim.
I feel like they could have found a cheaper way to do that too, because milk has always been expensive. Not expensive, but
Yeah, did not seem like the smartest choice by any fucking means. Anyway, so they get in, and I think they decide to play a game of like hide and seek.
Yeah, they eventually.
They're in a fucking pool, so that good luck.
Yeah, they frolic around for a bit.
Yeah,
and then
frolic.
They're like, let's play a game of water tag. So it just shows this like ridiculous couple scenes where it would show one of them like swimming around while the other like gets a breath of air and then ducks under the water to swim around. It's really random.
Yeah. And you don't need it. It doesn't provide that great a context for the scene.
No, but very quickly we get our first kill. And I will say this, if you've never seen this movie, don't get discouraged by the first kill, because the first kill is really, really lackluster, but the rest of them are fucking fantastic. And which we'll talk about later, there's some awesome special effects, but the first kill is really kind of just ho-hum. You know what I mean?
I agree. It's, I don't know, it's nothing that special, Linda's in the pool and she's, like I think floating on her back or whatever.
we of course have to get some, the obligatory tit shot.
Oh yeah, this is 85. There's some titties in there, and so like the
84, but either way,
fair enough. But anyway, so like the shot is this like weird, and again, I'm gonna invoke the name, a weird sledgehammer kind of like fever dream flash of mine to me was like this weird slow motion shot of her getting dragged, like these two hands come out of the water and drag her down under, and it's like this really jankily made slow motion shot, because slow motion wasn't that great back in the day. But yeah, you're right, like it's the most lackluster kill in the movie. I think
one of the most I've ever seen. But
yeah, it's totally just like, all right, that's it. And but yeah, the rest of them throughout are just fucking, it's just fucking epic. Anyway, Mike discovered, or no, not Mike, fucking Ed that drags her body out, or does
Ed climbs out with her body. Somehow Mike must have been underwater this whole time and not seen any of this happen. But yeah, Big Ed climbs out with her body and then also picks up their pile of clothes.
Yeah, that's right. He's like, you're gonna have to fucking to walk in the
And
Bluff,
he basically sets up, and obviously, Mike thinks that it's Linda doing this, but he basically sets up like a trail of clothes for him to follow, first starting with his clothes, and then later on down the line, it's like her bra. But so Mike starts following this trail of clothes, thinking that Linda's playing a game with him, and he gets back closer to the house and sees her bra lying right in front of the garage, and thinks that she's hiding in the garage somewhere.
Oh yeah. Just it's a tantalizing chase, I suppose.
Yeah, he even makes a joke about that, like, "Oh, you're playing a game with me," and then as he gets closer to the house, he's like, "Now it's getting more interesting," or something like that.
But he gets dealt a bad card, this Mike guy, because he opens the closet door in the garage. Or one of them. There's multiple, it seems like. And and he just is met with fucking Ed Sr., Big Ed, just takes a weed whacker to the dude.
So that's what I thought it was at first.
What is it?
It's a boat motor.
Oh, shit. Dude, I totally thought it was a whacker. But yeah, so he takes this motor and just shreds the dude's fucking chest. And it's bloody and fucking gnarly. And Mike's like, ah! It's fucking awesome. And
he dispatches him in gruesome fashion, for sure.
Yes, he does. And that's what we're talking about, where it's like, you get this like one kind of casual kill and you're like, oh, is that how it's going to be? And then like quick turnaround, you get this gore fest. Like,
yeah. And the practical effects on his chest look amazing.
Dude, it was awesome. I was definitely like, as soon as that hit, I was like, oh, it's on.
And then, Big Ed dispatches him, and then we see him hanging, he hangs Linda and Mike from those spikes on the wall that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. And he literally shoves their head into the spike, and so it's they're great. Just like dangling there. And still, the rest of the four are just kind of like dicking around on the beach.
Yeah, they end up getting jump scared by a police officer that's patrolling the beach, which was something that there's a line earlier, because when they first get to the house and notice it's in disarray, one of the characters, which is a cliche, of course, is like, "Let's call the police," and Ed's like, "Well, there's not really, the mainland sheriff is a while away, but there are officers that patrol the beach quite often." You know what I mean?
Yeah. There might be they're basically like security guards. They're around.
Essentially. But yeah, he basically tells them, to be careful, that there's some thunderstorms coming through, and Pam mentions, well, when we got here, the place looked like it might be broken into, and the guy's like, "Well, I won't phone it in until the morning," and because Ed had mentioned earlier that he was going to wait till the morning to call his dad and see if his dad knew anything about the battle axe. Which none of this really doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the plot and isn't important. I'm just explaining.
It's just like, it's just fluff in the story. But the interesting, there was a really random line in this sequence where I can't remember who it was, but one of them was like, "There's no murderers or rapers around here, are there?" It
was Ralph. Yeah.
Fucking douche Ralph. But I thought the line was just super random. You're right. But
extra. Yeah.
The security guy, or the officer, he they interact with him briefly there. And do they have an interaction with him later? I mean, I know he comes into play again, but
no, they go there. The four of them keep sauntering down the beach while the officer decides to go investigate the condo a little bit.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm investigating a possible 1038. Yeah, dude. Yeah, and I guess to be fair, this dude does seem to have a pistol on his side and whatnot, So,
and if we thought
a security guard,
if we thought that Mike's death was great, this one is even better, dude. Because you see the officer, he first, like you said, he goes to the front of the house where the car is, and he calls dispatch, and then he goes around the side of the house, climbs up the stairs, looks at the door, climbs back down the stairs, and there's this nice shot where he's walking down the stairs where you think that like a Child's Play 2 type death is going to happen, where someone grabs him from like beneath the stairs.
Yeah.
But they don't do that. It's cool. He gets to the bottom, and then out of nowhere, Big Ed stabs him through the side of his cheek with the fucking fence post.
Oh, dude, it was gnarly as fuck. It was so good. Such a great shot. It looks painful, man.
Oh,
like,
fuck.
Like, yeah, dude, just the fucking effects there. But that's not all he does.
No.
He also,
what else does he do?
He also takes the battle axe and just fucking lops the dude's head right the hell off.
It's beautiful. The shot of the head rolling next to the flashlight, and then his headless body with the blood spurting everywhere is fucking phenomenal.
It's fucking awesome. It is 100% cool. Like, and like the clean, like the neck, like the clean cut like neck, like even just looked juicy. Like for the moment you see it there, like right afterward and stuff, you're just like, oh, this is so fucking good.
Yeah,
like,
I forgot
where they
to
put
look
some of their budget, man. Like,
yeah, I forgot to look up who did the practical effects, but it's some like Tom Savini level type stuff.
Dude, straight up, like, yeah, like it's gold.
He also obviously, after he lops the guy's head off, he also grabs the head and the body and takes it with him.
Oh yeah, he's not one to leave him around.
Well, right.
And then again, like you get back to the four who still are just sort of like dinking around. There's a shot. I think you may be presuming that like Ed's maybe watching them through the bush or something for a brief moment. But there's like they're in their couples, and they're just like really awkwardly walking on the beach, like not next to each other, but like slightly in front of one another. It's like,
right.
I don't know, man. It's just so strange. You could tell like they were just like, a lot of this was just like, how do we like fill some dialogue and what do we do with these characters?
I completely agree.
Like,
because quickly after that, we get another scene that I feel like was so stupid, definitely just to kill some time. But I mentioned earlier about how like childish and stupid the food fight scene and I feel bad that we're referencing Sledgehammer for like the 5th time, but they go back to the house and decide to play a game of fucking blind man's bluff, like a bunch of fucking 10-year-olds.
It's so fucking out of nowhere. It's just like, what? Okay.
Yeah, like a game of drinking blind man's bluff. Yeah. It's just, I don't know. Like why the fuck did they go with this? You know what I mean?
That's what I mean. It's like, of all the things that you could have these characters do, you're just like, I don't know, well, blind man's bluff. It's fall break. What else would they be doing?
It's fall break. But it's just, I just don't get it, dude. It's like,
I want that sound clip so bad.
we should
anyway,
find this.
I just don't get
clip.
it either, dude, because it's just like, I don't know, like it's just lazy writing. But that's that's not what this movie's about. The writing is not what this movie's about, folks. There's there's some other stuff, of course. They're just, I don't know, they're just filling time at this point with these characters.
So I'm just gonna, in case no one knows what blind man's bluff is. So essentially they even mention the rules. Ed does. He's like, well, so one person's going to stay in the house and hide while the others go outside, drink a beer, come in, and as we find the person, we stay with them until there's one left. But if you notice, like in the all these scenes that's coming up where they're playing the game, none of them they all have their eyes open. So it's like, what the fuck?
So yeah, it's like, what's the point here?
Exactly.
Meanwhile, while they're getting this set up, you do have Big Ed and his fucking battle axe just lurking about the outside of the house. He's watching as like 3 of them kind of like hang outside. Well, Linda, I think is it not Linda? Linda's dispatched.
Sue's in the house.
Sue's in the house. And yeah, so it you get the vibe that like they're definitely building up to like more and more.
Right.
But, the other ones they kind of sneak back into the house and they're supposedly playing. They're like wandering around, touching the wall. But you're right. They all have their fucking eyes open. And like, I don't know. It's
so stupid.
It's acting at its finest.
It's awful.
But yeah, and it's kind of drawn out too, this whole fucking sequence. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like at one point, Ralph and fucking Pam or no Sue, he finds her and she's like underneath the table.
Yeah.
And so he goes and hides with them, and then they, shortly thereafter you find how do we say, just another active participant in the blind. Wow, I'm just bumbling my words. Anyway, Big Ed fucking is also in the house now because he sneaks in with the group a little after the group.
The ones under the table think it's Ed. You know what I mean?
And I think at one point they even like grab at him or something like that.
They're about to.
Okay, yeah. And good thing they fucking didn't, because that dude would have just lopped him then.
Right.
But yeah, he's just like, he has like a variety. Like at one point he looks like he has not his axe, but like maybe like a fucking fire poker or something that he's gonna like
it looks like he
over the head.
I think he was about to bash Ed over the head, but then he notices that they're all in there and doesn't want to give himself up quite yet, so he retreats and leaves back out of the house.
Yeah, that's right. Wisps his way back out the sliding glass door. Meanwhile, these chuckle fucks crack open another beer. It's I don't know. And then here you have the kind of like, I would say, classic 80s situation where they start pretending to be all tired and wanting to go split off and basically just try to bone.
We also get another like cliche, like a horror trope where Pam brings up, she's like, she's talking to Ralph and she's like, well, I'm worried about Mike and Linda, and Ralph kind of just blows off whatever she's saying and it's like, oh, they're off having fun or whatever.
Yeah, dude. It always happens. Like the one character tries to be the voice of reason, like, hey, whatever happened to our friends?
Right. And the one just totally disregards. Yeah, it's hilarious.
Yeah. It's a verbal like shut up or non-verbal like shut up, I'm just moving on. But yeah, like you said, they each split off into their respective couple group and head into their rooms. Yeah. And you have a bit of dialogue going on between like fucking Pam and Ed. Is this where you find out that she's a virgin, or was that earlier?
Yeah, I don't know if you're led to believe she's a virgin.
Yeah, they make it for some reason it's like kind of mentioned at one or alluded to.
Oh yeah, because there's a line where they're talking about one of the things that Ed's dad has. It's like this mask, and they talked about where he got it from the Yucatan Peninsula or something, and it was a mask used in some sort of
sacrificing or something like
virgin sacrificing. And Ralph's like, well, we don't have to worry. Ralph's like, well, we don't have virgins. We don't have to worry about that except for you or something like that. And insinuates that Sue's a virgin.
Right, that's right.
It's just such a random, because they're just sitting in bed and Sue's like, I'm not ready yet, like not here, not now. It's like, why did this need to be part of the movie?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, are there always these scenes? But then it also goes to a couple of things. You see Big Ed during like this whole sequence briefly, and you find out what he does with the guard's body. And so he puts the severed head on the spike, and then he looks like he like puts like a lantern or something almost. Maybe the dude's flashlight, I think. And like in the dude's chest or whatever, and like props the body up on like next to it. It's fucking awesome. It's great. And then you get back to Ralph and Sue, and they're starting to get a little hot and heavy, and they make a mention of like, oh shit, we need, like, they stop, and Sue's like, obviously bothered by something. He goes, oh, we need a condom, I got one. And then she's like, no, we need to lock up. We need to lock up. Somebody thought about it.
right And she also mentions that we need to lock up, and he's like, well, what about Mike and Linda? And this is when she like coerces him to go look for them. And we get this is another one of those like scenes that would have been in like an 80s comedy, where she mentions going to look for him, and she's like, and when you get back, like, I'll have this for you, and like goes to her bra, and then it does this like weird scene where it has this like cheesy music, and it shows him like zip around the room really quick getting his clothes on. It's so weird and out of place.
It's so, yeah, dude, absolutely. That's exactly what I thought. I was like, why is this happening? Like, it doesn't play for comedy. It just is like,
no, it's like stupid.
The director was like, oh, he just wanted to try to do like a one and a
zany
half,
little scene,
little, like, I don't know, it's just fucking bizarre. But yeah, so he like, he gets himself all like redressed in kind of a hurry. The dude has like a gnarly looking furry chest, I will say, and he kind of starts his sort of patrol of the house, we'll say, even so far as to like, he's like mocking Sue.
Yeah, he's doing it. Like, I wrote that down too. He's like, we should go look for Mike and Linda. We should go look for Mike and Linda. Yeah, he's a fuck.
Dude, he's like a fucking child. It's like, what the shit?
I do love this kind of like thing in a trope in a horror movie where it's like the douchey character that you're just waiting for him to die. You know what I mean? Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, it's always nice when there's one you're just like, oh, I hope you fucking get yours, like, bud.
Rooting for his death. Yeah, and so,
Ralph finds himself like in the garage. All the action happens in the garage,
I guess.
And at one point he like picks up a fucking railroad spike and like throws it into the wall,
which wakes up a sleeping Big Ed. Yeah,
that's right. Big Ed's back after killing a few. He's back into his slumber.
Because Ralph sees, like, we forgot to mention earlier, right before Mike dies, he sees that like Linda's underwear is hanging on one of the doorknobs, and it's still hanging there when Ralph comes. So he, in his head, even though he's calling for them and they're not replying, and even though he can't hear anything they're doing, he just randomly assumes that they're in that room fucking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not only is he fucking annoying, the dude's an idiot. And like at one point he like jokes about, like, he grabs like a hammer and a nail and he's like, I'm gonna make sure you guys are good for the night. Like he's gonna nail them in the fucking closet. Like,
and then he's like, even I couldn't do that.
Yeah, like, you fucking idiot. But then he gets something special, man. He cracks open the fucking door and he's just face to face with Big Ed. And Big Ed just fucking takes him out. He just stabs him straight through the fucking neck with a pitchfork.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's so good. And the blood, like the blood work, that's like the moment you see like the penetration of like the pitchfork, it's so fucking good.
And then with like Michael Myers-esque type strength, he just hoists him up in the air, sticks him through the wall, like sticks him to the wall with the pitchfork sticking out of the back of his neck, and breaks the stick off and leaves him hanging from the wall. It is another top-notch fucking death scene.
It's fucking epic, dude. And that's what I mean. That's like all these now.
Yeah, they all make up for that shitty first death. Without a question.
Sure. Oh, for sure. Yeah, and then so, barely any of the characters, seem to hear or experience the commotion going on there. I think you see Sue kind of look out a window at one point, being like, kind of like, where is he? But eventually she kind of gets up and
she like checks her watch. You know what I mean? Notices it's been a while.
Yeah, and begins to kind of look for him. And, you know, this takes her outside and down the old garage.
Yeah, and while this is going on, while she goes outside to investigate, we see, you know, Pam was maybe waking up by something. Big Ed also, while this is happening, there's a couple things going on. So Sue goes to investigate. Big Ed comes into the house, which wakes Pam up. Big Ed grabs the gigantic fucking oversized fishing gaff from the wall and leaves. And there's this weird where Pam comes out to investigate and is spooked by this gag that Ralph had set up, where it's like a dummy hanging from the ceiling with a note on it that's like sweet dreams. But when did he have the time to set that up? Because you know what I mean? It never shows him set it up. Like, it's so weird. It's like, it's almost like they forgot to put in this scene of him setting this up or something.
I kept wondering about that. Like, I was just like, I did not have any indication that this was happening or a thing, or like, you know, that Ralph had been pranking or setting up pranks around it or anything like that. It was super out of nowhere. And then right, like, so Big Ed has his little his big ass fucking fish hook at this point, and after getting spooked, doesn't Pam wake up Ed?
Yeah, she does.
Okay.
And he she like tries to wake him up, and at first he doesn't want to hear what she has to say, but she ends up, you know, rousing him out of his sleep.
Yeah, that's right. He's like, leave me alone.
Yeah. And he even makes a mention about he makes some cheesy line where he's like, well, we can't sleep together, but I can't even get any sleep yet either, or something like that.
Yeah, it's like, fucking hell, this guy. He's just upset that he didn't get any. So those two decide to kind of go off and look for everybody, because at this point they've noticed that, like, it seems like all the rooms are emptied. And I guess I was mistaken. At this point, Sue is still just kind of like out and about, like looking around. I don't think she's at the garage necessarily, but she does get there. And
first she comes back into the house and meets up with Ed and Pam, and this is where Ed and Pam are like, we're leaving. And they go to leave, and Sue is like, and Ed mentions that they're going to go to the sheriff's department, and Sue's like, well, I don't want to leave without Ralph, so let's do one last search for him and see if we can find him. And they split off. Sue goes to walk around one side of the house, while Pam and Ed go to walk around the other.
Yeah, that's right. They split up in classic fashion.
Yeah, classic. And Sue doesn't get very far, because it seems like she walks around the corner and runs right into Ed.
Yeah, dude, like, literally, like, right around the corner, right into Big Ed's fucking, like, open hand, and he just grabs, in another moment of unprecedented supernatural strength. He, like, picks her up. He's like holding her by the neck, and like, you see this shot of her feet at least like a foot and a half off the ground. Like, where is this coming from Big Ed, man? And he basically he takes her, and like, with that strength, and brings her into the fucking garage. That's right. Like, and you know, she's met with a pretty fucking gruesome death. If you ask me, man. He basically like clears off like a workbench, and like slams her down on top of it, and then like, I don't know if he like exactly hooked her through her nether regions, you know, but he like hooked her.
Pretty close.
It's at least pretty close. He like basically hooks her through her fucking pelvis, like area, and like with that giant ass fish hook, and there's just blood splurting and oozing, and it's fucking gnarly, dude. It's hard.
Yeah, it looks like
it was hard to watch.
It looks like he was, it was like he stabs her through like the waist area, and then it looks like he's starting to gut her. And it cuts away. Yeah, that'd be a fucking awful way to die. Awful
fate, man. I really hope nobody ever stabs a giant fishing hook through my fucking balls and guts me on the workbench.
But it's like right after we're Ed and Pam now, so they make their way into the garage, and they notice not only do they notice Sue's body still on the table, but Ed also stumbles in to the door where everybody else is hanging from the wall, and they notice all the dead bodies.
Yeah, which is a fucking like cool, like you get some glimpses of the bodies hanging again and stuff, and it's just like, again, I just can't commend like some of the visual work
Totally.
You know? Like I even with like some preparation from your tweets and everything, like I was just like, I think I was just unprepared for like the quality that I got out of some of this.
I agree, because this is not a movie that gets talked about a lot, but there's some great I 100% agree.
And so like during this whole moment, they see, so now they're thinking some shit is fucking happening,
of course,
and they see like the silhouette of Big Ed and his fucking axe. You see the silhouette of the axe too, kind of slowly slumping towards the garage, which I don't know how this dude moves around so fast sometimes, because I didn't feel like they were like that far behind the killer.
Right.
And all of a sudden Big Ed's back out the garage. But anyway, so Ed Jr. does something that I don't really agree with. Like he shoves Pam into the closet and is like, locks her in basically, or
like right here.
Yeah, and is like decides to take on his dad solo, and give her like no chance of doing anything for herself. Really.
Yeah, it's a good point.
How the fuck
he could have at least let her like run out the garage the other way, but instead he essentially like locks her in there.
If you're gonna take a shot of the dude, like let her
baffling.
Go. Anyway, like so you think like, here's the moment, man. Here's the moment. Ed's gonna be Ed Jr.'s gonna be a hero and stand up to his old man.
Well, and they don't even know at this point who the killer is. Like,
that's true. You only as a viewer know who it is.
Right.
Because that gets revealed in a great way later on.
It does.
But what I love is that, like, within moments of Big Ed being in the garage and like Ed Jr. and him having a confrontation, he just like pops the Ed Jr. like once or whatever, and this like crumples him. Like the
he knocks him. Yeah, it just knocks him unconscious quickly. It was hilarious.
This fucking kid.
Yeah, because he like Ed hits him. I think it's like the broken part of the pitchfork. He like hits him. Big Ed falls down for like a split second, then gets up and immediately knocks him unconscious.
Immediately just beans him. He's fucking out. He's on the ground.
Yeah, and,
but Sue, man, or no, it's not Sue. Pam, dude, like Pam, she comes busting out of the fucking out of that room.
Yeah, well, because he ties Ed's feet and hands together.
That's right.
And he's about to deliver like the fatal blow with the axe, but like you said,
this is the moment. But
Pam blasts her way through the door.
Yeah, dude. She does, and she's just like, "Stop! You knock it off," or whatever. She says something to like kind of like get him to pause. And then while she's like she finds a railroad spike or whatever, and just throws it at that Big Ed, who's like kind of slowly was slumping towards her. The dude's slumping everywhere he goes.
Yeah, he is.
And she like throws the spike right into his fucking temple. I love that reveal. Like I thought it just beamed off of him or something, but like he looks up and he just has this metal piece sticking out of his fucking thing.
Yeah, it's embedded into his fucking temple, like you said, and he pulls it out, and then she actually does a pretty good. She actually does a pretty good job of like fighting him off, because not only does she do that, but then she pulls out this knife.
Yep.
Jabs it into his stomach and starts twisting it, and ends up like knocking him out for the time being. Like,
yeah, dude. Like Pam is 100% the hero in this scene. Like Ed Jr. just got knocked the fuck out. And he like this little whimsy, and Pam is just like, all right, well, I'm gonna try and use some weaponry to fuck this guy up.
No shit.
And, and she does, like you said, she gets him on the ground. He's out for a moment, and long enough for those two to. What's up?
Real quick though, I forgot to mention before she like stabs him in the chest and knocks him to the ground. He stabs Ed. With like the tip of the axe, which wakes Ed up, and he's screaming in excruciating pain. But yeah,
and that was a great shot, because like he stabs him, and then like takes the axe up and some blood just comes like oozing right out of the wound.
It's great.
It was well done. Yeah, you're right. And so Ed's kind of injured at this point, and he's kind of like, he's a little out of it. And so Pam unties him or uses the axe to like cut the cords, and gets him and her to the convertible that they all showed up in.
Yes.
And of course, this fucking thing doesn't start.
Right. It's like flooded. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Makes no sense. Yeah.
But I loved like while they were, dude, I mean, he wasn't being very helpful in this scene. He was just kind of whining, which I understand. The dude's bleeding from his fucking leg. He has a wound that he needed to get checked out. But they keep trying to like start it and they flood it or whatever. But they do this moment where it's like you see like it's focused on those two, and they're talking, and you see Big Ed slump like out of focus. I was like, oh god. Yeah,
the way they shot that, because like the camera's in the back seat, and they don't see it, but he gets up and it
was so cool. And then so she ties like the wound off a little bit, and
makes a tourniquet.
And then when she is like flickering the lights kind of on and off, that's when they notice the Big Ed's body's gone.
The body's missing. Yeah.
And then like all of a sudden now it's fucking urgent, and you see Big Ed crawl up the back of the car. He's coming for him, dude.
Yeah.
And they fucking see him, and they're like, holy shit. And he starts kind of like trying to get his axe through the convertible top.
Yeah. He cuts the soft top and he cuts the soft top and starts choking Ed. And this is here another scene where it shows like how much more competent Pam is, because while Big Ed is choking Little Ed, Pam very quickly decides in her head, she notices the car lighter, pushes it in to get it hot, and then fucking smashes it onto Big Ed's head, burning it, which would be so fucking painful,
dude. And it looked fucking gnarly. Did
it looked real?
Yeah, dude. The way it was like it kind of burned whatever prosthetic, and then like she even dragged it down the hand of it, and so like it ripped this like line of burning mutilated flesh. And it was fucking epic. And then she kind of like, I think that sort of sends him flying backward a little bit, and the car's like engine now is started, and she kind of like starts like getting it backed up, I think, which makes him really fly off. But then they notice a couple of cops pull up, and she tries to like wave them down. Big Ed starts fucking crawling back up though.
Oh my god. And then what
does she do, dude? What does Pam do?
We get two awesome sequences. So the first one, he's on the car. She reverses it all the way into this concrete wall. Destroys the wall, and this is when Ed finally realizes that it's his dad.
The big reveal.
Yeah, and then the sheriff comes up and he's like, pull the car forward, and we see that Big Ed has been bisected in half. Like his lower half slumps to the ground first, his upper half is still attached to the car, and he falls to the ground, and you think he's dead, but we get one of the coolest fucking, I love this fucking scene, man. It is every time I watch this movie, I'm still blown away by this fucking awesome last like jump alive scene.
It was awesome.
It's like incredible. Words did not do it justice.
It was so fucking epic. So like you said, he's fucking bisected, dude. Like his legs are in a bloody pile over there, like his torso's in a bloody pile over here, and the a cop approaches, and so right next to it, and just out of nowhere, you do not think this is gonna happen, man.
No, not at all.
This dude's fucking dead. Out of nowhere, with that supernatural power, he just like grabs the cop's leg, picks up his battle axe, and just thwops the dude's leg right off.
Oh man! Like, and then maniacally laughs.
It was so good, dude.
Awesome, fucking creepy, unsettling, maniacal laugh before breathing his last breath and dying him. It's so fucking spectacular.
It was fucking phenomenal. It was so cool.
This movie is worth it just for that fucking scene alone.
Yeah, 100%, dude. It was fucking awesome. And like, you know, much to my chagrin, they didn't end the movie directly right there. They kind of like followed up with Ed and
it's real quick.
and they're just like at the hospital, like we're okay.
Yeah, it's almost pointless because it just shows him like walk into her room and he puts his hand on her shoulder and the movie ends. It should have just ended, like you said, with that awesome last jump death.
To me, that's where the movie ends, with that epic moment of him like laughing maniacally and then burying his axe in the sand and then like he's done.
It's so great.
Oh, dude, it was so good. Yeah, you like. People have to check out the fucking Mutilator, man.
Yeah,
like you mentioned, I think earlier, like it sounds like there's not a lot of talk about this movie all the time, and I think it just the effects alone, I think it's deserved for a view. You know,
totally. You know, I've never heard of. I guess it was directed by this guy named Buddy Cooper, but there's also, it says that it's co-directed by this guy named John Douglas. Never heard of any of them. Don't know what else they've done, but this is one of those. I think it was one of those movies too that, you know, wasn't necessarily made a splash. And I read somewhere that like it got lost for a while, and then there's a couple different companies. One of them is called Arrow. I forget. There's they what's the word I'm looking for?
Are they like distribution companies kind of?
Yes,
where they buy up like the rights and then just re-release it or whatever?
Yeah, they specialize in making now it's 4K or whatever, but they specialize in restoring these horror movies and releasing them so you can own them. It's pretty cool. That's what happened really with this movie, is it? Yeah.
Dude. Yeah, I definitely recommend. I would say I would give it like 5 battle axes out of 7 for sure.
I
really enjoyed it.
I would give it 3.8 comically oversized fishing gaffs out of 5. Like, you know, there's some kind of scenes that drag on too long, and there's some dumb dialogue. The first kill isn't that good, but
yeah,
from there on out,
a bit of sledgehammery vibes at times.
Yeah, but the rest of the kills, and for the special effects alone, this movie is worth checking out if you're a fan of that kind of shit.
Definitely. Dude, it feels good. It feels good to be back on. Feels good to be getting these podcasts out for those dogs and getting these recorded and like looking forward to a movie a week, you know.
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to the future and looking forward to the next time we do like a special episode, you know.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, we got some plans. We
Totally.
we've talked about like kind of some of the stuff coming up and how we're gonna fill out a little, you know, some of the weeks coming up, and you know, we got some good stuff. I can't wait for another one of those special episodes.
Totally.
Too. You know, we'll hit that mark.
Yeah, I just appreciate, you know, I know it's, you know, we've been on this break, and I appreciate the fans that, you know, were patient and still listen during the break. So hopefully they'll be excited that, you know, we're coming back to make some more content. So.
Oh, fuck yeah. All right. Well, we'll leave it there. You corn dogs, do what you got to do. Listen to
Go see Scream.
Go see Scream.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah. All right. Good day.
Until next time.